Listen, welcome to the monthly Watchlist on LME Live, where we explain all of the upcoming stuff in theaters, on Netflix. It's not even HBO anymore. Max, Prime. I feel like they're going to be changing their names all the time. But a big shout out to everyone who listened to the last one. I know that our audio was a little bit off for it, but I think for the most part, this one should be sounding good.
Yes, I think so.
I think we're coming in a little bit more crispier than we were last time. I like how people were like, I can't hear you, but also you wrong for that pick. So you could hear a little bit. Hopefully this is coming in at the appropriate volume. If not, I'm sure y'all let us know on the live stream or in the future. But this is the live stream that we're doing on a monthly basis, going through all of the stuff that's coming up in theaters, as you can see right here, all the stuff on Netflix, and we put together not just this live stream that we're gonna be doing. I know this one's a little bit late, but we have all of this on a Notion page that we like to give to all of our LME listeners who have been supporting us over either on Patreon or through the membership page. We really appreciate the support there, and we like posting, just having everything kind of like connected for you so that you can have your own little movie diary. Because sometimes Letterboxd gets a little too intrusive, you know. Sometimes you'll be on there, and I think you were the one who told me. Like, I'm just focusing on the idea of like getting judged by your reviews, but you hit me with this story.
There was a tweet, just screenshots. No verified source, as they say, but there are screenshots where it's a friend was like, I thought you were going to be hanging with your boys, and he logged the same movie that her best friend did at the same time.
Can you imagine just trying to speed race to Gran Turismo, and that's what gets you caught because you went to the early PS5 screening of it?
You're logging your own receipts there.
You're logging yourself into oblivion at that point. But nonetheless, that is what we have, this entire list out there, so that you can kind of combine your stuff. We like to link all of the new releases, but also kind of have like the IMDb and the Letterboxd there for you to log stuff on your own. Notion's really cool because you could like do your own notes or add a bunch of other stuff. But other than that, we are not kind of what's it called? Sponsored by Notion. I just really like them. Nor are we sponsored by any of these streaming services here. That way we can give you a proper review for all of that. Again, a big shout out to all of those who are listening on the live chat. We appreciate y'all. Y'all make this go around pretty much.
Absolutely.
For all of the listeners that are out there. So I'm very curious to know what your picks are for this upcoming month that we are already halfway in. But let's break it down because we do have a lot of catch up to do, especially in terms of theaters, because over in theaters we've had movies like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We went to go see it. We got like a whole bucket. We covered it over on Intercut. How they gave us like a poster.
There was a poster. You got the bucket, a mask.
A comic book that was really just a bunch of artwork, but nonetheless, it was still pretty cool. This was a movie that looked disgusting. I think the element that I'm working on when we get a little bit more footage is Mutant Mayhem is gross, but we liked it. I think it was a pretty decent new take in the same kind of...
I know this is blasphemous. I never watched the Turtles growing up.
Which is why we're divorcing next week, but... you also did knock out during this movie.
I mean, that was a confidential behind the scenes.
It was a long ride to get there, and we had seen it pretty early. Yeah, and you just can't stand Raphael. But I did enjoy the new movie for what it was worth. The one that you then dragged me to was the Meg 2, The Trenching, and we went to go see the last Dolby of this. And this is a movie that is not meant for the States. This is a movie that is clearly meant for stuff overseas, and because of that, it's been making a lot of money over there, not over here.
That is true.
So, other than that one, you had a new Casey Affleck movie, which I thought was kind of funny. But then you also had what I consider one of the best movies. If you go over to our Instagram, we've been doing kind of our like weekly picks and just in terms of like posters and images. Because I know I'm never on Instagram, but Alina's been putting that stuff together, and I'm like, yo, I was gonna put this one last week, and I'm like, everything in my heart tells me that this is gonna be fantastic, but I gotta wait it out. It's finally out on VOD. This is a banger of a movie, a little independent movie called Brother. Get this, about brothers, but it hits hard. Both of these men should have been winners already in some award sense. This dude was in The Last of Us. Just got a nomination for his role in The Last of Us,
the Emmy, yes.
Which is absolutely fantastic. He's got a look in that episode that just screams, give me the award. But then also, Aaron Pierre is going to be in a couple of TIFF stuff that we're going to be covering in one of these Let Us Explains as well. But like this was mid-sized sedan. He's going to be in Blade. Killed it in the Underground Railroad. I think he's a standout in this movie for sure.
He's going to be a foe?
What's fall?
It's the new one with Saoirse. Wow. Look at that.
Where's this playing?
I believe that's New York.
There you go. New York, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like New York dates. So, a
be
lot
wrong,
of
could be
good
too.
stuff coming out in the future with this dude because he is fantastic. And I would highly recommend Brother. Because the only competition that I had that week was Hardest Stone, and this is the most CGI Walmart bargain bin edition of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
It's almost sad that it was Gal. But, like,
Why?
if
You
it
pray
wasn't...
for her demise. You don't like Gal Gadot.
The story's getting written. No. Maybe. But I think with her being in the movie, like, it'll attract you to it, but at the same time, you're like, girl, why are you in this movie? You know? It's like a double-edged sword there.
Kinda.
It was a fine story. The action was cool.
The
I don't
action was like not even barely visible, but nonetheless, I hope she got her paycheck. It was better than the other action Netflix movie that she had. There is a lot of other picks for the week, as you can see there, that we combined together. But we ended up in this like very weird scenario in August where Gran Turismo was having like screenings
Every week.
Like, it got pushed, but it didn't really get pushed because it was screening all the time.
Yes.
There was, like, an IMAX True Story PlayStation screening. There was a Gran Turismo based on a True Story early access shows. There was so many screenings for this thing. We were also able to catch it early. There may be a screening right now. They may have sent it to me. I may be able to screen it in the middle of this live stream. But this is going to be the movie that comes out next week.
On the 25th.
You were a little higher in it than I am. We're going to aim to get a whole LME for it, but...
As an outsider of a person who's not played the games...
Or raced
personally, it gave you the drama side of things, and it also gave you, like, the cool little, like, you know, VFX of, like, being in the car and driving, and, yeah, it's nice. I liked it.
Very goofy, but I didn't hate it. Sometimes I was bored.
Some of the lines were a little too goofy, right? I think you said on Monday when you were streaming, you said my mom would know those lines.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like, those stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, video game lines, but again, we'll talk about that in spoilers because they do some funky stuff in the movie. And we may have to have an LME with the full quality because The Last Voyage of the Demeter, if you haven't heard about it, don't worry, neither has anybody. Universal? Paramount?
I think
it's Universal because I think we had just talked about this being a monster movie, like one of their Universal monster stuff. This thing is coming out on streaming already, like next week. So if you didn't catch this in the theater, no worries. Neither did anybody else. But I thought it was decent for what it was going for. Maybe just a half hour too long, but you will be able to see that at home.
Yep.
Some of the festival picks was like Pod Generation that we had covered in our LME, looking back at all of the stuff from Sundance. I thought this one was kind of cute. King Cole was another recommendation that we had. That was like an experimental documentary where like a town worships Cole. That's everything that they have going on.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the other stuff in the middle of August, as we get to the new things here, we are on this week. Blue Beetle, that's why I delayed it. You know, I wanted to make sure I was shouting out Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle week.
Blue Beetle and Stray Dogs. I'll start with Stray Dogs because we caught both of these yesterday. I can't believe it. You know, all this talk about representation and like making sure that people get pushed to go see the movies that are meant for them. And to think that we didn't even get an invite to Strays, knowing that we have a dog, I think is ridiculous from these studios. But we went out of our own way to go see Strays yesterday. Not packed, but
Not packed.
this has been a movie that we've been hearing, like, just, especially from the older crowd, they cackle at this stuff.
Always.
Where people roll their eyes for, like, the joy rides, or people get offended for, like, I don't know what happened in what's the other one with, that's out on digital already?
That's out on digital that has dogs?
No. No Hard Feelings.
Yes. No
People
hard
get
feelings.
all up in arms for that, right? Because it's humans.
Mm-hmm.
Have the same jokes, but they're dogs, and nobody cares. I kind of want to combine, like, a Strays video with, what are the other two I just mentioned? No Hard
Feelings.
Well, kind of No Hard Feelings. Talking about how, like, people couldn't get the joke in that LME, but they were offended for the people who were offended by the movie because they couldn't get the joke. It's for a whole LME right there, but Strays is... it's boog. You need to be extra drunk. There's a scene in the movie where they, like, suckle out of a bar's, like
the trash?
broken taps. Yeah, you need to have, like, 3 pints going into this. A Four Loko, if they still sell those. You need to be messed up for this movie because it's so dumb.
Yes. I think the jokes don't hit and they're not funny unless you're in that state of mind.
Yeah.
So, some of them are.
Some were funny only because you have
one
a
or
dog.
two.
But that's
Yeah.
it. But then yes, Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle is out. We went out to an IMAX to see this. I almost didn't want to go, but I was like,
So
you
much
know, I'm
back and
such
forth.
a Blue Beetle fan, so I made it out of my way as a big Blue Beetle fan. You know, in this household, we grew up with Blue Beetle.
Of course.
And in terms of IMAX, I'd say it's decent enough because this is a movie that is really touting itself as like the first DC movie to be, full IMAX. It's not full IMAX, but they do use it not just for the action sequences, but I enjoyed that they used it for sequences where the main character needs to talk to his father or an uncle, someone who's like guiding him through it. And I like that idea because Oppenheimer, a lot of people went into it and were like, yo,
what's the point?
Why
They
is it so
talk?
big for his face? And I'm like, because it found a way to be like, it's not just about landscapes and explosions. It's about, can you have an intimate moment blown up so that like psychologically you are seeing that as a grand moment for the character the same way that an action scene would be. So I thought that was cool. Look, I'm gonna be completely honest. It is just your regular origin story that they're always doing for these movies. I want to cover it more in a spoiler video, but that idea that they didn't even have Dolby tickets for this available for a lot of people until like the day prior to it coming out. You know, WB wanted to sell tickets to Barbie,
Yes.
and they did it. They're like, are we really gonna switch it to this movie?
Do we have to switch to?
We already promised the Mexicans. So they posted it, and look, we went to an empty crowd. For whatever reason, the people who sat behind us wanted it to be like a familia because, I don't know, there was no reason for them to be that close.
They bought the tickets right
there
behind us.
was room to the right, the left,
But,
above
hey.
us, below us, everywhere. I don't think it's going to be a box office hit. It's not a box office blunder. If you were to like compare it to The Flash that just came out,
So it's about equal-ish.
I think it competes with it. But look, I'll be completely honest. You make like a West African story. You make like a Middle Eastern story. There are just some jokes you are not going to get. And
unless you're part of
yeah,
the
and everyone
culture.
goes like, oh, I don't really know how to like tiptoe that. It's completely okay, bro. There are movies about women. There are movies about kids. There are movies about elderly people. There are going to be things that are not going to be for you. Everything that you and I laughed at, this ain't for nobody.
Nobody.
This ain't for like half the listeners out there. But nonetheless, I do appreciate that. That is cool. At one point, this was going to be an HBO Max, if I'm not mistaken.
No
release.
way. Really?
You didn't know this?
No.
Oh, they were just gonna
They're just gonna
ship it to
dump
the streams. Yeah, they
Wow.
had no expectations for this, so that already kind of tells you what they think of it. I think the people who made it do care. I do think it's getting pigeonholed because I've never heard someone say this is the first in the DCU, but not really the first in the DCU. So that's the most that's like getting picked first in Dodgeball.
The first asterisk.
But then they pick the first in Dodgeball again after you. Disrespectful. But look, it's decent for what it is. I'm not going to say that you need to like rush out to go see it. But if you're a superhero fan, I think there's a lot there for you. I know that there's a lot of back and forth with the, what's the movie called with the Flamin' Hot?
Flamin' Hot, the director, or who are you asking?
Just a movie in general.
Yeah,
Flamin' Hot was a movie that I know comes with a lot of baggage now. But this is a film that I think for a lot of Latinos, they liked it.
Yes. I have family members that are like, this is the most incredible thing ever.
Now, it may be a lie. If you still enjoyed it
Sure.
even though it was a lie, this whole thing's fake. Blue Beetle ain't real at all. So I think you will enjoy it because the ensemble that they get, Cholo does a really good job. There's a lot of Spanish jokes that don't get translated. And even the ones that do get translated, it's like, that's not what that means. And there's no real way to translate it other than having that tradition behind it. So for that, shout out to the movie. The man's Iron Man Jr. sometimes. I wish if you were going to make it authentic, right, in that sense, why is it got to be generic in every other? But that's for the longer, full spoiler LME that we're going to be working on. But overall, look, I give it a junior price. I think it's worth it. If you care for IMAX, I think they did their thing. For some of the IMAX scenes, the whole thing is not an IMAX. But it's cute for what it is.
Yeah. And again, if you don't want it, there's Strays for you.
There's Strays.
If you laughed at the trailers, go watch, right?
Yeah. There is also like other Hispanic movies out there. The adults Michael Cera's Spanish, bro. Michael Cera. He's got a new movie, The Adult. We just caught this on. We had a link for it. Cute, awkward, and I think Sophia Lillis is. Look, you can say she's on the up and up. I think she's here. She eats this movie up. Like, she's got this awkwardness to her, and she really plays into it in this film. Some other festival picks would be Birth for Birth. We talked about that in our festival recap as well. This is a movie where they, like... you'll get dinged talking about what the cycle is, but screw it. So a woman impregnates herself to
then
abort mission.
To harvest her own thing.
And then harvest it.
Yes.
And then...
to then make a serum.
A serum that gives you immortality, kind of.
Frankenstein-ish.
And then rinse, wash, repeat. And that's like the beginning of the movie. And that's why a lot of people were fainting at Sundance. But that is a good horror movie that is out. Landscape with Invisible Hand. Shout out the boy Corey Finley. We really like his previous stuff. This one's alright. It's based off of a book, and I haven't read the book, so I think once we read that, we may
see the comparisons,
hate it even more, what it meant. It's okay.
I'm surprised they put it right in the poster.
The nuts? Like,
you were in
the bathroom in between strays when we were waiting to go into strays after Blue Beetle, and I'm standing next to this thing.
Well, this dude got pecs, so he's been lifting. I mean, I guess
because they do. That's their sign language thing,
right?
That they have in the bit. That is inappropriate right there. I feel like I just dinged myself. But Landscape with Invisible Hands, aliens come in, and like teenagers are owned to a degree where the content that they make isn't to satisfy other teenagers. It's to satisfy these aliens and their entertainment.
Yes, they are the content.
Through love.
Yes.
Yeah, faking love. So.
But they actually have. I don't even know what it would be. The overarching, like, hey, if you're faking it and you're not showing us, like, we always think reality TV, like, some of it must be scripted, right? They're like, you can't script.
That you can't script.
Yes.
But I still thought that was a pretty interesting movie. I wanted to like it a bit more, but you know, I would still put it on people's radar for the watch list. There's also this interesting release for Metallica. Metallica, as you know, right now that I'm saying them, might get a copyright strike, but they're doing a live concert, it's about to happen, where they do 2 nights of performing, I think, in Texas. And it's going to be streamed to theaters. If you're a big Metallica fan, I think this is pretty cool. Even outside of that, like, nah, bro. I wish, like, Metallica's cool, but if they did this for someone who I really like Travis Scott did that movie that is not like sitting on Apple.
The one you showed me earlier,
the Circus Maximus. That's just that felt like, who can I get to be dumb enough to pay $25 a ticket, which if y'all didn't hear, he released Circus Maximus only for this thing to be a $25 movie ticket.
Wow. That
when you went to the theater to go watch Circus Maximus, which, just for those who don't know, like, look at this. He got Gaspar Noé. If y'all don't know who Gaspar Noé is, he's a director. He got Nicholas Winding Refn. I think everyone knows Drive. Mm-hmm. He got Harmony Korine, who Travis Scott's going to be in his movie coming up. I don't know if you see it over here. Yeah, he's on Spring Breakers. This is the Travis Scott movie that he's going to be doing.
Oh, okay.
That what is, like, infrared whole movie. But yeah, Spring Breakers, Gummo, Beach Bum. I don't know where Kids is, somewhere on here. And then, you know, a couple of other people as well to come in and make these films with him, or to make what was this montage of Circus Maximus. People paid $25 to go see this. They were supposed to get a shirt. The AMC employees copped the shirts and were selling it on whatever. So,
hey, pay your employees more. Maybe they won't steal your shirts.
I guess. It's available at home, so you could just see it on Apple if that's what you wanted to. Nonetheless, I do think it's interesting that Metallica's doing something that is kind of cool, because I think that IMAX movie that they did a while back with, what's it called? I think I mentioned last week as well.
It's with Dane DeHaan, if I'm not mistaken.
There we go.
Right?
They did this, like, it was half a concert IMAX movie, but then at the same time, Dane DeHaan's got to get something for the band somewhere else, and there's, like, an apocalypse happening. It looked really cool in IMAX. I don't think any of it made sense. Decent. So they know how to make a good IMAX movie, is all I'm saying. A good presentation.
So they wanted to score the movie, but live.
That sounds kind of cool,
and be the center of it.
Yeah, I don't even listen to their music like that, but that sounds pretty cool. You could then do a double feature with Bottoms, because why not? Bottoms is a movie that we saw at South by Southwest. It premiered at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, an exact year after. I think we saw the premiere to Everything Everywhere All at Once, which ended up winning the Academy Award for something. So Bottoms had that same premiere, and it had astounding reviews. I think I give a pretty good review, but I also gave it 3.5, so I know some people don't want to like what I had to say about it, but I think it rings true. And I also did like this movie. It comes from Emma Sigelman, who I think made one of the best. Like Shiva Baby is what I love, the way people are going to love Bottoms.
Shiva Baby's touring again.
Touring what?
Like, they're touring the movie. I don't know if it's over, but they were touring it again.
Touring how?
Like, they were re-showing screenings around.
Yeah, you could re-show a
nation.
screening on HBO Max. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, maybe you could do a double feature with Shiva Baby and Bottoms, but that's going to be a funny movie that kind of flips the roles of what if the girls put a fight club together.
Okay.
It's very much a satire. Almost gets into parody, in my opinion, but I think it straddles that line to a degree that I still think it's more hits than misses. But I don't know if you saw what's been happening on Twitter. There was a director
Okay.
who, like, lost it.
A director lost it? I mean, last time that happened, that was not good. That was for a different movie. But,
Which movie?
Guns Akimbo?
He
That
lost.
was-
Yeah,
that was a lot.
Wow. Yeah, he lost it in a different way. We haven't gotten to that point yet, but this was the Love Witch director. I wish I had
Okay.
actually the stuff booted up, but as I cut to this over here on this other screen, the Love Witch was a movie. I remember Zach came over, whatever year this was, and we were almost gonna go see it,
Okay.
and then we didn't see it. Anyways, the director of this movie decided to call out the poster
For which movie?
Bottoms.
Okay.
And like just went off on it. And
Are they that similar? I don't know
called it sexist,
this poster.
this poster.
Interesting.
Because I guess she didn't get that the women were pretending to be the men and then the men were kind of like on the floor. It's like a play on it.
Okay.
She got really mad and everyone clowned her.
Is it one of those
Bro.
where, like, you haven't seen the movie and you misunderstand a poster?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's worse when it's like, I don't know, you're like a commentator for sports and you called the wrong pitch.
No.
This is a director and like she didn't get movie posters.
Yeah.
They ate her up so hard, dude. They took the trending thing I saw was people going, well, taking the Love Witch off my watch list.
Yikes.
So I have like, damn, we don't even boycott Amazon like that, but they went after her for not liking Bottoms. Great promo for the movie, I guess. Semi promo for the Love Witch. So if you haven't heard of that, now you have, because they did not like Bottoms. I think it's an okay poster. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I did not understand what she was trying to say with that. But nonetheless, Bottoms is out in theaters literally just a week away. I hope they don't push it. Luckily, it's not an A24 movie because A24 pushed, what was it called?
What did they push out?
Another one we saw at South by.
Another one that we saw at South by. Oh, we saw a lot of South by. Why can I... What is A24 from South by?
Problemista.
Oh, they did push
They pushed
that.
it so far, it almost disappeared from my mind.
But you have to, because the actors
But
are
that
on
was supposed to
strike.
come out last week, which is exactly why I didn't want to make this watch list, because I didn't want to give y'all wrong information. Moving on to the other stuff that's out there, we mentioned Gran Turismo. That's going to be the last screening for last week before it all wraps up. But that would be all of the stuff that's coming out in theaters. Like we said, we have this up for all of the patrons and the channel members. A big shout out to y'all. That's all the stuff that's in theaters. Before we move on to our first set of streaming, which right now it's got to go to Netflix, HBO, and Prime. I saw Chase reacting to the... What did he react to?
He reacted, I think, to the Invisible Hand.
Which, the poster for Invisible
Yeah.
Hand. Yeah. I don't know who thought of that. Chase did not come to Sundance this year with us. If not, I know that he would have... now I got to pull up the Invisible Hand one.
You have to. People need to know.
People need to know what they got going on there. Look, I was right in front of it while you were in the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
I dipped. Like, I had to.
You
Like,
had to move?
I was standing in front of a nutsack damn near. It was pretty bad.
That's actually pretty funny.
I don't know where Chase's comment went, but
There it
yes,
is.
Chase, you are correct. Good observation. I don't know what it is either. But yeah, that movie will be coming out on the horizon in terms of theaters. I also know that for a lot of people, Bottoms is going to be on the top of the list. The only bad part with something like Bottoms is, like, I don't know what the release date is going to be for a lot of other people. He said, again, what the hell is that? But I saw some people saying that on a VPN, you're going to be able to maybe catch it if they get a digital release.
Maybe.
Hopefully it comes out okay. I see some people who told me Julio Torres fan, so I'm excited for Problemista. They just pushed it. They said no date. Hopefully it's still in December, but man, that thing could go back to 2024, so I really don't know. let's see, Christian had said that he loved Guns Akimbo. So, minus the movie, I do recommend checking out what happened with the whole debacle there. It's always funny to see like directors kind of flip it out. Some people, there's Josh talking about Corey's Bad Education and him rewatching it and that it's great. Landscape isn't as comparable to that. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I think that's one of the big things when we're talking about certain movies, and especially over on Intercut when we like interview. It's like, yo, I will interview for a movie I love, interview you for a movie I love, but I gotta keep it a buck when the next one comes up. I do think Zach liked it a little bit more. So if you are curious to see the Nutsack movie, there are some good things in there, and I'm sure the book expands on a lot more. So keeping it going with some of the stuff that's over on the streaming services. Let's break down our top 3 for this month. Getting into Netflix, The Max, and Prime. Netflix just always coming in with the most, right? They've been really pushing their Untold series. There was the Jake Paul one that he did right before a fight. Just genius marketing. Like, you don't have to like the guy. We clearly don't. You don't even care for the guy. I don't care for the guy. Damn, he just, like, he knows how to play people.
Yeah, it's well put together.
And he's telling you his game plan. He goes, you just got to get people to be pissed off on you, and they will hate watch. And it works every single time. The man timed it to his fight. He won the fight. And look, I got to give him his props. Not a bad boxer, bro. He is not that bad. There's also the Johnny Football one, which again, it's like back-to-back. Hi, I am a scumbag. And today I'm going to double down on that. Another one with Johnny Manziel from the Untold series that was just like digging his grave even more. Probably the saddest part of this one was where you get to the split screen of this man talking about how he was just drinking, doing crazy stuff in college, kept doing it at the NFL, but his buddy, who was also his manager, is like a whole big part of the doc. And it like ends with them just forget not being friends. It's this idea of like they just never talked again after he moved up to the NFL. And it's a terrible story. And the guy just continues to make mistakes. He's like drinking in the dock while he's talking about his drinking days. Yeah, that's Johnny Manziel. Some other stuff. I have to hear from the listeners about Heartstopper. We caught a couple of episodes of the first season. We know people love this. It's based off of a series of comics, if I'm not mistaken. They got a season 2 out, and I know it was breaking records, so that's on our watch list. We did wrap up Lincoln Lawyer season 2, part 2, because everything's got to have parts. And it was pretty good. You were a big fan of the first season.
I saw the first season that had one kind of like story arc, and then this one had like 1.5-ish.
Yeah, because everything gets split. You tied me down and you said you were going to watch The Lincoln Lawyer, and I was like, oh, okay. And we did. It's interesting. I still prefer the movie just a little bit more, but if you've seen the movie, which is starring Matthew McConaughey, they're all adapted from the book series. So there's a lot to go off on. And I thought they did a decent job here. He's Mexican in the series, I think.
I mean, from Cali. I'm assuming.
But they do like the whole storyline. I can't remember. They did like a big part, especially dealing with food.
And his mom too coming to visit.
Yeah, because he's stuffing his burrito where he eats, especially for the second season case. But if you like a good procedural, like this is something that would have played. It's an intercut on the USA Network. This is your cup of tea over on Netflix, and there should be.
I mean, I know y'all have a hunger for it since Suits had so much.
Popped, yeah.
Yes.
So they do have that going for themselves. We had caught a couple episodes of this. There's been like a really good hip-hop centric thing because we're, I think, reaching 50 years, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe.
When I went to Seattle.
There was a billboard for that recently,
That whole thing at the, Seattle has that museum for pop culture, and they did like a whole exhibit on hip-hop, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Yeah, this is for the 50 years as well. So Netflix has this. I still think that Rap Caviar over on Hulu.
I was about to say, you like that one a bit better.
There's going to be another one I'm going to mention, but this one specifically focuses on the ladies of hip-hop, and it's a series pretty decent. Painkiller, another series that came out that I think you and I would say, and we talked about this with my brother, that the, what's the other one called? Try to boot it up over here.
The Dope Sick?
Dope Sick, thank you. Dope Sick is like the premiere version of this. I know not a lot of people got to see it immediately when it came out, but it won so many awards. I think even you and I like saw half of it and we're like, this is really good, but it's like really deep. This was at a time where we were probably traveling too much. This is the show that already swept up all the awards.
Yeah.
TV miniseries, 8 hours long. I want to say it's 8 episodes. This is the one you want to see that does it like perfectly. But this one ain't that bad either. I think you're going to get, I guess like we were just saying, with the hip-hop centric side of things, you're also going to get every streaming service talking about what their version of the opioid crisis coverage is going to be. TIFF's going to have a movie also called Pain something.
Yes, that one's going to be called Pain...
Hustlers,
Pain
yes. Smugglers. Did I get it right? Okay. So Painkiller's another one that kind of has the same approach of following the people who are really pushing it out there, but it does this interesting thing where every episode begins with a real person telling you about someone who they lost, a loved one who they lost. It comes from Peter Berg, who's always played with that idea of like a true story kind of mixed in with actors that he's also worked with in the past. But if you don't know Peter Berg, I'll showcase some of the movies that he's done here. Worked a lot with Mark Wahlberg, so I'm surprised Mark Wahlberg didn't come in and was like the dude who stops all the oxy from being spread out. But he's had some good movies. He's had some bad movies. I think he does an interesting job directing all of Painkiller. I don't think he's done series like that in the past. You know, he has worked with Netflix, Spencer Confidential, Not 22. But these movies, these Patriots Day, Deepwater Horizon, Lone Survivor, where he makes like Mark Wahlberg an amalgamation of all the coolest dudes out there. But I got to shout out Friday Night Lights because he did the movie. He also did the TV, a couple episodes of the TV. I want to say the pilot. And that's why he brings my boy, Taylor Kitsch, who plays one of the guys who suffers from an accident and gets addicted to the opioids. So if you're curious on another opioid-centric
movie,
if you need to get that hit, there it is. Every single streaming service will have one. And this is Netflix's. Not that bad. But of course, if you want the best one, Dope Sick, I think is the one to live up to right now. There's also shout out The Wiggles, Ready Steady Wiggles Season 4. That's going to be out. And then you kind of have a lot of dumb stuff that I don't want to like bring up. Like The Chosen One. I haven't seen it yet. It's a series about like this 12-year-old boy is a messiah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're releasing this the same week you're releasing Depp v. Heard. Like, what are we doing here, bro? Like, it's just low-hanging fruit. But then this week we got an animation that got roasted, bro.
Roasted? Really?
Because they were calling it Kung Fu Panda, not realizing that Kung Fu Panda is based off the original story, The Monkey King, that is getting adapted here. I don't know how close they're going to play to the story, but, you know, this is the new Netflix animation that's got a pretty good cast. I think they're all, you know, Jimmy O Yang's really funny. Bowen Yang I've been finding funnier, and a lot of the new stuff that he's been in as well. So I'm curious to check this out. Probably catch it after the stream. But that kind of wraps up the stuff that we have for the end of August. End of the summer for Netflix, because the last thing that they have is You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah.
That's Adam Sandler.
This is the Adam Sandler movie where his daughters are starring as Adam Sandler's daughters. So yeah, if you were curious in that comedy, I'll show up at my couch to see this, to see if Pop's
he made the Bat
timing goes out
Mitzvahs
there.
Tax deductible too? He's a smart dude.
He made all 8 days of Hanukkah
He got
tax deductible. Did you forget that?
He got his vacations and
this man did 8 crazy nights, got them all covered. Where is 8 crazy nights? This man got when he all of these, right? When he went to Africa, Mr. D's got the Hawaiian Punch covered. Yeah,
all the
that's
grown-ups
all this man
vacations.
does.
Yeah,
he's a hustler. He's a hustler. And then I don't think this even counts for this month, but the last big thing that they're going to have is One Piece. One Piece is coming out, and I think that should be enough. I'm not ready for people's opinions on One Piece because any anime adaptations and live action have become the new video game.
it is the thing that will be scrutinized to no end.
Yeah, it's a new video game remake or adapt. So there you go. That's going to be the last one there, and that kind of covers all the stuff for Netflix. Moving on to HBO. Slim pickings, but they still got good stuff. They wrapped up The Righteous Gemstones, which Zach caught up completely. It's been his picks of the week over on Intercut. I started catching up on it up to season 2. We got season 3 to go through, I should say. Really good. Okay. Full circle that we wrapped up on. Just found out it's based off of a book. Damn, it makes me want to read the book. That's how you know something is good.
It pushes you to the original medium.
They've already done the work for you, and you still want to go read it. Warrior is one that I think I had mentioned last week that people are always asking us to catch up on, so I definitely do. There's Harley Quinn, John Wilson. But Winning Time would be one of the big ones that just started up. If you did not see season 1, highly recommend it. It was a mini-series at first. Now they're going full, what's it called?
like the
just a regular series. Yeah,
yeah.
They're like trying to compete with the miniseries. Like, all right, let's just go full series. They wanted to do an anthology.
I was
That's
about to say.
what it was
I was about
yeah.
to say. I was like, it's not like every season's different. So
Nah.
at that point, it's anthology. But
yeah, so they're keeping it with that. At one point, they were saying like, oh, we're gonna go do other teams or we're gonna do other sports. I was like, all right, you have a good cast, keep it there. Then what? What am I supposed like? Cookie Monster's bake sale? There's nothing else. They give you one thing, and that's like that's all you need. What?
Right underneath Cookie Monster. I haven't seen the first season.
Okay, yeah, we saw the first season.
But the first season had high praise to it.
They haven't even changed the poster. So again, it's this Warner Bros. Idea of like they're not promoting their own stuff. At least they changed the poster to Winning Time. They ain't changed the poster here. I think that says a lot personally. But yeah, the first season was pretty decent. And then some pickups like Avatar. This one I'm curious. It played at Tribeca. It's a documentary where they're like all a lie. I don't really know. I'll talk about it more when I see it, but
it's all a scheme.
Yeah, it looks pretty interesting, and from the people who have seen it at festivals, they also really liked it. So that'd be the other one. And We Baby Bears, season 2B Cartoon Network. Nobody cares. Wrapping up the top 3 of our streaming services, I'm going with Prime, that has The Summer I Turned Pretty. If you've ordered anything, probably got their tape on there for the products.
Oh, that's smart. You own both, right?
The only praise I'm gonna give them right now. And I don't do this for a lot of streaming services, and I want to say that Netflix and Prime are the only 2 I can give this for. They are really good at taking really big movies that played in theaters that are supposed to go home to that respective streaming service. Yes. And I'm specifically calling out Paramount Plus and Peacock.
Yes.
They get their movies immediately afterwards. They tout it, oh, we've got no exclusives, but that movie you didn't make it in theaters, you can catch it at home. Mm-hmm. Why, if you're going to lose your own movie in 2 months and it goes to Prime? They've got this one. They've got, let's see, there's another one over here. Black Demon. Bro, how are they snatching Cocaine Bear now that it's like fully embraced the meme? It worked so hard to be the meme, and now Prime's going to cash it in. Women Talking won an Oscar. Sat on Peacock for like 2 seconds, and now Prime's going to get it. Mm-hmm. Champions. They could not do anything with it. And I feel like a lot of the times it'll be like on Paramount or Peacock, but more people have Prime or piggybacking off of Prime, that's when they get it.
I mean, just think about it. How many people pay for Prime? And
1 person out of the household pays for Prime.
But you all have access to it.
Everybody has access to it.
That point, wait, right?
So, they got some big theater releases that they're snatching, but some of the originals, y'all got to let us know. This got a lot of attention. You were really excited for it. I told you, y'all, this it feels like a streaming movie again with that Blue Beetle rapping. The rapping is good. It's cute. It's new. But it's still the same. Stream it, bro. The dialogue feels like a CW.
But this totally felt like, hey, you're growing up in that like goofy love movie is coming out. Like that, it fulfilled everything.
If she's the man or he's the man, whatever that new one was, not the good one, but the Netflix version of it.
He's all that then, right?
He's all that?
Yeah.
Okay, I said the man. Sorry, I was combining another one. If that movie had any extra elements, it's the same script, bro. We just said it for Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle is no different than the other than the last origin story, but I appreciate the sauce on top. This is sprinkled in with obviously what came from a book. I think we're bigger fans of not the guy that comes from the Kissing Booth, who is just making another Kissing Booth movie. Nicholas. We're big fans of Woke Timmy. Woke Timmy is a dude who can be in a movie as bad as Cinderella or The Craft and still be like, you did make me laugh in that one scene. He's going to be in Bottoms. I also think he's one of the funniest parts in Bottoms.
He's very funny in Bottoms.
Even if I don't think the jokes they wrote him, but the commitment this dude has.
The delivery.
Nah, he's good. He acted in Bottoms the way he was supposed to in Red, White, and Royal Blue. Because in Red, White, and Royal Blue, this man was in an acting bag. He had, like, his lips were quivering as the British dude.
The glossy eyes when you're about
when
your eyes are watering, but they haven't formed a full tear.
No one told him he was in a Prime original, but he thought he was in his prime time. If y'all think we should make a whole LME for this, let us know. Because we had some funny jokes when it came to it. It's like 2 hours long. We'll have to probably catch the book for this one. But if y'all recommend it and y'all think it would make a good LME, let us know. Another one that is over here, you also have another Prime movie that kind of like... I forgot to mention Dungeons and Dragons. Another one from Peacock that got snatched.
Gone.
They took it, and that's like it. I thought there was another one. Other than Red, White, and Blue, the best thing Prime has are the pickups, hand-me-downs from another service. So that's also like not the best thing that's there. But yeah, those would be all of our top 3 streaming channel picks. Before we get into the last kind of, Hulu,
few.
Paramount, all of that, looking into some of the stuff that the people have been saying in the chat in terms of some of these movies. I don't know what One Piece is. I've never seen one, but I'm just gonna be like, yeah, it's anime for sure.
I'm aware of like, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Naruto, right? So like I know of the run, right? It's the meme, right? But I don't know what the story arc is. I used to read Bleach, but then that just like, you're after 100 volumes, you're like, all right, so we're just gonna repeat things
a dozen times. One of the one things I know about One Piece is that like filler.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes not just to the manga, but even like the series. It's like it's so long you'll never be able to catch up to it. But hey, they're gonna make an adaptation maybe there. Some people really mess with Cocaine Bear. Maybe that'll be one if y'all think we should make an LME. At one point I did have one. We were at South by. I wanted to make a Cocaine Bear and Winnie the Pooh one for that horror Winnie the Pooh.
Yes.
Just both bears going crazy. So I thought the meme would die down. It's still there. So if y'all want one of that, let me know. Josh said he's got to check out. See you, Josh. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being a supporter. You can see the little LME thing right there. LaShawn says they cloned Tyrone LME, so that may be one that we'll have to catch again.
I have been seeing more people, like, they make
breaking it down?
Well, not even breaking it down, but they're just, like, eating their chicken. They're, like, trying to eat fried chicken after seeing they cloned Tyrone. Mm-hmm. And just, I mean, if you've seen it, you know what that means. If you don't, then I'm not going to spoil it.
I mean, or just, like, watch your health, if that's what you're worried about. Like, at the end of the, it's going to be for a whole LME for it. But, yeah, it's They Clone Tyrone reminds me a lot. I don't know how much you're going to know about this.
What movie? Probably not.
No, not even a movie. In Kendrick's last album, he literally had to add the Heart Part 4 into it. Or was it part 5, I think? And that's, like, a song he does to introduce. I should probably search up They Clone Tyrone.
So is it when he speaks, then? Is he speaking to the audience in a way that it's more like a lesson?
If by speak you mean that he's rapping so eloquently that he's speaking to the heart, yes. He talks about in that song this idea of like, actually it's not even in the Heart Part. Oh, I think it's in the Heart Part 5, another one. Pretty much he mentions it throughout the album, this idea of like what you eat has been embedded as tradition, not realizing that it's what hurts you the most. Right?
Like, I have family members that just won't touch menudo because they learned where it comes from. I still think it's delicious.
We're still on our 4th tortilla, flour tortilla, so it's like, yeah, but that's still like a thing within itself that I think is important. Kind of to get into, I thought the way they cloned Tyrone covered it was interesting, but yeah, I might have to put that on the docket as one to make a whole one for. You had brought up another one right here. Did you see the whole Blindside movie being fake? Yes. So this one's an interesting one because sometimes like you find out afterwards. Sometimes you find out like on the spot. When all of this happened, people were blindsided because if you remember the whole campaign for this movie, did I spell blindside wrong? Is it 2 words? The whole campaign for the movie. Oh my god, what, the Blindside? Come on, bro, y'all crazy. Damn it, it's not even streaming anywhere. TBS? Nah, I don't count that. Wow, good on them. The Blindside, when it came out, had... What's her name? Why am I blanking on her name? So Sandra? Disrespectful, bro. This our girl. Yeah, Miss Bullock. She was going through a divorce at that time. No, you had it right there. Jesse James. He, cheated on her, bro. Like...
I was bringing this up because of, I guess, the current partner she had, but we'll get to that.
Too, dude. Like,
but I didn't know about.
You don't remember this?
No,
bro. You can see it right there. Hold on. Let me pull this up on the second screen over here. She had just gone through a nasty breakup, divorce, if I'm not mistaken, and that was all over the trades. It was all over the what's it called? The news, so a lot of people felt like really bad for her. What did you search up specifically? Sandra Bullock.
I put Sandra Bullock husband.
Sandra Bullock husband was Jesse James. You can see right there, 2010. Right when?
Oh, yeah.
The movie came out. The whole campaign for her had people kind of defending her and rooting for her because they felt she was done so wrong, right? And because of that, a lot of people weren't paying attention to the guy who was saying, yo, this story about me ain't true. Now, Sandra's innocent here. Some people were saying, nah, she should know better. it's our girl Sandra.
No,
I'm
actors
not.
are just handed a script.
They're just handed a script.
Oh,
But,
she EP?
I mean, I don't know. She should. I feel like 5 seconds after talking to that lady, you would probably know. But if you've seen The Blind Side, which you can stream absolutely nowhere, you would know that they damn near like raised this boy. There's a big scene in the movie where the guy walks in, is like the little kid walks him to his room.
Okay.
And when he walks into his room, he goes, "Man, I've never had one of those."
Yes, I heard this.
And this kid goes, "A room of your own?" And he goes, "Not a bed?" Bro, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed, bro.
It being fake?
So, yeah, he said this early on, but nobody really paid attention to him. Now, years later, it turns out that he's been able to actually make a lawsuit. And I think that's why it's become a really big thing, because it's not like I'm going to toss it out to social media. This really has become an issue now where people are realizing, yo, they lied about a lot of it. They kind of had him under a conservatorship. And it's more so not just that they used him. They never even really adopted him. So, like,
Yeah.
it's pretty bad, dude. But, yeah, that is a whole big thing that's been happening at the moment. And I'd be curious to see where that goes, because you were talking about fried chicken. Do you remember what they own in The Blind Side?
No.
They own, like, Taco Bell and KFC. That's what made them what made them rich.
I mean, I did tell you, like, there was a lot of movies, like, when we got together that I just did not watch. Like, there's a lot missing.
You knew the truth.
I know of
You
this
need to
movie,
boycott
and
it.
I knew this movie, like, was really big.
Yeah, it was massive.
But I have not, I don't know anything of, like, how big these people were.
Yeah.
But I did see a picture, though.
Hmm.
And it was, like, the husband and wife were, like, courtside seats.
They're filthy
For what?
rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
They're massive. Let's see, wrap up a couple of other comments, and then we'll get into the rest of them. The Julian Show, too. Don't get it twisted. It says VHS 85. That's where we're at. It's coming out soon. We'll definitely be covering that if it's either September or October. It's been a year since the last one. I think they were in the 90s. Anyone seen Talk to Me? Definitely one of our recommendations. Brought it up in the last watch list. Need to make a whole LME for that one, especially when we get to the what's it called? October season. I want to make a lot of horror LMEs. So
Yeah, because that VHS is gonna come out for Fantastic Fest. So.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. But yeah, I would definitely put Talk to Me on people's radar again. It is one of the best movies to come out in the past year, in my personal opinion. And it might even be out later this year, meaning that I'll be able to make a whole LME for it. But jumping back into some of the other picks that we have in terms of our watch list, some of the stuff to keep on is the stuff that's happening over on Hulu. Disney has got also nothing really coming out. One of the big things that Disney has been trying to do, I don't know how much they're going to be able to manage it, but it's this idea of combining Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN. They have rebooted Futurama.
Yes.
Right? They're on the 3rd season of Reservation Dogs, which I would highly recommend. And I also thought the new season of Futurama was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been really getting into the live stream space as well. This is their 2nd or 3rd year doing the Lala stuff.
Oh, okay, yes.
And as people who got to go to Lala, it was very helpful to not be able to make it to an artist and just be able to watch them on there. Also, if you just don't go, if you're not in Chicago, I wish they did more of those. Coachella still's got them beat because that's on YouTube, that's on free for everybody. But it's interesting to see how these streaming services are kind of trying to push for lives. Another season that Hulu has is Only Murders in the Building Season 3. We enjoy the show. We don't love it as much as a lot of other people have been really pushing. Mm-hmm. But I definitely do think that they've been hitting it off this season because the cast it's too good. There was a joke that was made about the creator of the show because he was like, it's just a miracle. The chemistry that they have. The chemistry between two people who have worked their entire lives
together.
Then you sprinkle in who they got this season. Meryl Streep. She's on the come up. And then
we saw a couple episodes?
For the new season. Yeah, they sent us all of it, so we should probably wrap it up.
She's fantastic.
But,
I know she's supposed to be fantastic, but she's killing it.
She's killing it, dude. She's too good.
Is she the killer?
Ant-Man is also in it. They've been finding a way to finagle him in there if you saw the last season as well. But overall, I think Only Murder in the Building has gotten better as someone who's enjoyed it since the 1st season. One that I have to catch up on, bro. High School Musical, the series, season 4. Wrapped. We haven't touched this at all, so we're going to have to make a massive LME for this one because, boy, have a lot of things happened since then. So that's one on the horizon that we definitely want to work on. Another one that I would put is Miguel Wants to Fight, a series that kind of like timed itself to Blue Beetle.
A little bit.
Right? It's like he's not doing Cobra Kai, so they kind of tossed him over here.
Kind of like how Netflix always has its competition, its rival content that they put up.
I thought it was a series. Turns out it's a movie. So this is one that just came out this weekend, and we'll be playing it. They also just sent us the Star Wars Ahsoka series.
Oh, okay.
If I would have said that wrong, they would have killed me. I think I said it right. They just sent it to us because we're big Star Wars fans.
Of course.
But I'm curious to see, I guess. I'm lying. I don't keep up with the Star Wars shows like that. But if there is one that y'all recommend, and if y'all are excited for this, let me know. I'll live stream the Ahsoka screeners that I have with you. Look,
only get bigger.
We'll see how it goes, right? I've been waiting to see a breakout. So far, the one that's probably interested us the most, we just haven't had the time to sit with it because of how different it is the Andor series. Which is like one of the very few to have also gotten some Emmys love that people don't disagree with. But Ahsoka, it's going to be coming up there. They flipped this next one quick. Vacation Friends 2?
Out of nowhere.
We haven't even finished the credits to Vacation Friends 1. But this is on the horizon. It was the one where vacation couples meet and just have... It's a very raunchy comedy. They got some new actors on here that could add some good humor to it. They had decent chemistry in the last one. It was supposed to be one of those like Fox movies that may have gone to theaters and then ended up not going to theaters. Streaming is perfect for this series. So there is that. And then the last two, one of them is a psych. A Murder at the End of the World was supposed to come out at the end of the month, and it looked raw. This TV miniseries that's supposed to be like a thriller. It got pushed to November, which has me only more excited because I'm like, yo, all right, y'all have some faith in this. But keep this one on the horizon. It was supposed to be here. It got pushed. It's going to be a really good pick. For November, middle of November, that's exciting. That's peak. But what they are wrapping up with is on August 31st, season 14 of Archer.
Wow.
I have not caught up with Archer, but I remember, like, I pounded through, like, 5 seasons of this show. It is funny. So they're keeping it going. Good on them. That's all the stuff from Hulu. This is going to be so quick. Watch this. Paramount Plus, which is now also Showtime. Another service trying to combine things. You really like Special Ops Lioness. I haven't started it yet.
I really enjoy it. I mean, the story's good. You know, strong female leads, but I think it's... Yeah.
It comes from Taylor Sheridan,
butt, you know,
who I think makes good stuff. People really hate him right now because he said, yeah, y'all writers can strike yourselves. And he's in this crazy position where they can't tell him anything because he's his, like, only writer. Yellowstone.
Yep.
1883. He said, let me give you another one. Tulsa King. He said, let me give you another 1923 spin-offs. He's going to have every damn year, like, scoped out for Yellowstone, right? Mayor of Kingstown. Special Ops Lioness. He just poops out, not even movies anymore, whole seasons.
An entire, like, arc for people, and they just eat it up.
Yeah, so he's against the whole strike and everything because he's like, y'all are not going to stop me from making what I want to make. And then, you know, it's Paramount, they don't care. That's who's being struck. They're like... So it's just a mess over there, and yeah, he's kind of like, he's got a big ego with it, but, you know, he's always come up with something, and even the detractors, they don't hate it. I saw a little bit of the Linus one. I thought it was pretty good. It's got a lot of that Sicario energy, especially, you know, having that the female front of it. With it being a series, I think it's going to be able to expand on it a bit more. They're also on that ride of getting, you know, Rise of the Beast, the new Transformers movie, right at their streaming disposal. So catch it before it leaves and goes to Prime. But this was the other rap series that I was talking about, Mixtape.
Okay.
This is Paramount's take on it. This is a documentary. I've had this one on my watch list, so I haven't caught it yet, but I'm very curious because they got a lot of people from the 90s, but also most recently in this 90-minute doc. Looks pretty good. It's been getting pretty good reviews. Some other picks. The Shy. Never Seen Again, which is not booting up. But one I would recommend, All Up in the Biz, a documentary that we caught at Tribeca about Biz Marquee. Comes from a documentarian who I think is one of the best, Sasha Jenkins. Definitely catch this one. Very good doc. I like a documentary that's willing to look at the good, but also the bad. And then Billions. It got added on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's being pushed.
But it's being pushed because I think this is the final season. I've never caught up on Billions, but there's a scene I always watch from Billions. Have you never seen the show?
I have not seen this show, and this might be like, is this still the same Billions that's from Max? Are they different? Are those two different Billion shows? No, I'm thinking Ballers.
You're thinking of Ballers.
Okay, I'm so sorry. No.
Yes.
Then Ballers is on Netflix.
Huh?
Ballers is on Netflix.
Ballers is on Netflix?
Yeah.
No, Ballers is on Max.
No way.
Ballers is the one with The Rock, different bald guy, making a lot of money. Billions is the one with two bald guys making even more money.
But I didn't even have to like search it. It's right there. Ballers. Okay.
Oh, okay. So I guess it's
so
Ballers
Billions?
then.
Let me see.
Is Billions on there?
No.
You gotta luck. You're gonna need a little Billions to get it on Showtime. Where I've heard nothing but good things. This is gonna be a show I'll definitely catch up on. It's 7 seasons, but there is one clip. Billions is known for one thing: they eat.
That's right, because there's one scene where they go to Peter Luger's.
They go to Peter Luger's, a steakhouse in New York, and they literally just sit down and go, this steak is perfection. Wow, that's the Peter Luger's way. And it is the funniest thing. One, I'd recommend Peter Luger's, bro. It's so funny. But they really just have dinner at Peter Luger's.
Wow.
And what gets me is like they take a bite and it's just Foley of the clinking forks and the knives. And they dig in. They don't even say anything. Wow. It's just onomatopoeias of them chewing. Fantastic. I can't wait to see all the other food recommendations that Billions will give me once I catch up on that show.
Gotta make a list.
But that's Paramount's the Peacock slate.
That's the one where...
Yeah, you're not mistaken. This is the Peacock tab. There it is. That's how long the Peacock is.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
We were lying. They won't give you a new movie. They'll be like, you know that movie we had in theaters that made $1 billion? Here it is.
And if you don't already own it, probably in like a month-ish, if not less, Mario will be on Prime.
Mario will be on Prime as well, probably. The only new thing that they have is Killing It Season 2. Mm-hmm. Peacock is not killing it in terms of content. That's all they've given us. I would not recommend Peacock. That is why it is very, very, very low on my list. But, yeah, that's all they have to offer. Very embarrassing. Peacock, you did not do a good job. Mubi, we also like to put that one together, but they gave us like a half list this month, so we're going to have to go backtrack on that one, as well as Criterion. We like this toggle for the art house fans. One that's on my radar is Criterion picked up Toria and Loquita, which played, I want to say, at Chicago. So now that it's on the Criterion collection, you know, it's got that cosign. Dos Estaciones we saw at Sundance 22, I want to say. This is about a woman who makes her own tequila, but because they're coming in and sweeping up all the like agave factories, she either has to decide to sell out or not. You could take this as a metaphor for being an independent filmmaker or any type of independent mom and pop shop and what you have to do in order to survive. Decent, you know, especially if you're looking for a more independent movie. Then we got our last two, Apple TV, with a whopping...
How many?
We didn't care for the After Party Season 1. It's continuing in Season 2. Physical, I would recommend. Season 1. Just haven't seen Season 3 yet. Hijack, I heard nosedives. Like
it was what, after like episode 2 or 3?
Yeah. The one that I guess I will give a shout out to is Strange Planet. We've been watching this. It's like releasing weekly. It's cute. It's funny. It comes from the people who have worked on, what's it called? Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty. Okay.
So while it kind of has, you know, that humor, it does stop a little bit because it is based off of a book. And because it's based off of a book, I think you have like a really good through line. And a good foundation where they all like kind of speak their emotions out loud. And I find that to be pretty funny. So if you want a cute little, for the whole family, you know, something that the kids will think it's like Blue Minions, but you as an adult will get some of the jokes. I think it's a really good series. And then, Snoopy Invasion Season 2. Let us know.
You have Snoopy.
Exactly. And then wrapping it up is the AMC Plus stuff. They picked up a terrible movie in Paint. So I guess there's that.
Wow.
Probably the biggest original that I saw was Bad Things, that is out this weekend.
Looks great.
Do you remember her? She was in
Netflix?
Women Fighting, Wrestling.
Oh, yes, in Glow. She's She-Wolf, right? Yeah.
She's a really good actress. I'm curious to see what this movie has in store. Monica was a festival pick that I would recommend. And then they have their Season 2 of Dark Winds, which I've heard has been a really good show over on AMC. And I think like the only thing that's not Walking Dead. There are 50 million Walking Dead shows. But yeah, that is all of the stuff that is coming out in terms of streaming, in terms of movies, all of that good stuff. Again, like we've mentioned, all of this stuff right here. We even have some Tubi stuff, so you can go in there in case you just want to have some free things with ads. You know, sometimes they pick up some good stuff if you have a library card, if you're okay with sitting through a couple of promos. But we like to compile all of these things and we post it up, like we said, to the patrons, to the channel members, so that you guys can go follow along. Again, be able to click all these hyperlinked links to be able to get your watch list put together, your favorite list, whatever it may be. We have this along with all of the previous ones from the year. We will also be posting some stuff in terms of festivals, because I've been putting this together, trying to get what our picks may be. We're going to be doing a ranking once we finish those festivals as well. But if you are curious for all the stuff that's out in August, like we said, a big shout out to the people over on Patreon and the listeners on the LME channel, where you get the badges to be able to join the live stream, even on the comments, which I find really cool, that you can comment on a video
with their emojis.
With those emojis, and you also have your badge on there. So big thank you for those who support, and just in general, all of the people who listen live. We really appreciate y'all. A big thank you. I know you were sending me some other comments for the people who were here. Sorry, I did not move it to the other channel. Big shout out to all of the listeners that are out there. A big thing that I would bring up in terms of future ones is that we're going to be doing some for the patrons and for the channel members in terms of rankings that we're then going to post up as like VODs after the fact, some of the festival coverage. And another one that I'm really excited for is that many times, like, I can answer a response in the comments, or we could do a whole reaction. I want to do like a comment reacts going through whatever the last videos of the month may have been and kind of talking about what else is new, what else is out. Maybe some misunderstandings in some videos, maybe some of the funniest comments, a bunch of different things like that. Because we have a couple on the horizon in terms of what we want to cover. If I put it over here, you can see a little behind the scenes. I am working on Blue Beetle. Oppenheimer and Barbie, been in the works for a minute. Yes. Might want to do something on the Meg. A lot of people have been telling us to combine that with
the Black Demon.
The Black Demon.
Yeah.
And just a variety of different things. You let us know what you're looking forward to the most. Obviously, these three are a priority right now. So I'm very excited to see our own videos. What am I talking about, bro? The reception, the comments, because like I was saying, one of the future things that we want to get to is talking about a lot of the upcoming, not just movies for the week, but reactions to some of the videos, what people want us to talk about, yada, 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 yada. So a big shout out to everybody who was on the live stream today. Let us know your picks for what you are looking forward to the most. Next week, we're going to be doing our ranked of the year so far. We want to make like a long live stream talking about all of the new things that have been released throughout the year. That's then going to be an LME video going through all of the best must-watch movies so far.
Yes.
And then after that, it's going to be a busy fall. Besides the videos we want to work on, we're going to Toronto, the International Film Festival up in Canada. If any of y'all are going, let us know. We're going to be doing a preview over on Intercut, and then just a buttload of coverage for that. New York Film Festivals after that. Then after that, we have Chicago Film Festival.
We do.
Then after that, we're going to watch Dune every day till it leaves the IMAX theater. So a lot of really big things on the horizon. We will be trying to make the September 1st, literally on September 1st, the watch list right on time, because that's going to be one that is going to be a free Friday before we leave. So definitely join us next week already. Join us next week for the ranked, and then join us on the 1st for the next September watch list. A lot of these videos that we're working on, we're going to try to make them early for the channel members and the patrons, but I'm curious to know anybody's big movies that are on the horizon, things that you want us to cover. I'm looking at some of the messages that Alina has sent to me as I boot this up over here. Any other horror movies that you're looking forward to?
Horrors? I mean, the trailer that's been the two main trailers that I've seen so far have been The Nun 2.
Ew.
That scares me every time. And The Exorcist, what is it, Believer is the subtitle that has. Those have been the scary ones. I don't know if I'm looking forward to them. But they're certainly going to be scary.
I am not looking forward to that horror movie at all. In terms of other horror movies coming out in 2023.
What else we got?
We recently saw Cobweb that I thought was decent. that it's coming out in the horizon. I can't really say. Out of the midnight stuff that we're about to be watching at TIFF, I know that we have a couple that are more like slashers, I guess.
Okay.
So out of those, let's see, I'll pull up this list that I have right here. It should boot up. There's this one called Boy Kills World. See if it pops up over here. This right here is a movie that's coming from, I don't know the director right off the top of my head, but it has some Raid gentlemen. And if y'all know this channel, one of my favorite action movies is The Raid, and it's going to have Mad Dog in it. This is also, it has a ripped Skarsgård, the boy, Bill, the young one. And it is supposed to be nothing but bloody mayhem. It's playing at the midnight section. I'm really looking forward to that. Aggro Drift was supposed to be another midnight movie. I don't know how much horror leaning this is, but it'll be interesting. One that it's going to be very interesting is a comedy horror called Hell of a Summer.
Okay.
You don't remember this one?
No, I don't.
It's not even opening. Hold on. It is coming from the Stranger Things kid.
Oh, yes.
Where is he? He's back here.
I remember the still. This one was behind the scenes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's going to be good, but he's got a pretty good cast. And the boy is directing.
Good for him.
Good.
Right?
Sure, but will it be good for us? I'll let you know after we come back from South by. But yeah, he's got that horror movie on the horizon. And Sleep, I think, looks pretty interesting. It's this horror mystery.
Okay.
Where I think the guy sleepwalks.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He just does these creepy things.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you have I don't know, like Five Nights at Freddy's is going to be a big one.
Oh,
It's a bunch of horror movies that are going to be coming out. Saw 10, just the big ones that you definitely want to just be at. So those are ones to have on the horizon right there. Let's see. Another question that you had. Ricky saw Gran Turismo. I almost read that as Gran Torino.
Well, they would have been upset.
Saw Gran Turismo 3 times already. Gonna watch it again this weekend. Wow. My man's seen it so many times and they haven't even revved the engines at the box office. Yeah, if you're like a racer guy, I definitely think this is better than Need for Speed.
Yes, I do think it was.
I think have we had some of the racing ones this year?
Like other ones?
Yeah. For me, it's better than a lot of the other cookie cutter racing movies that we've seen. I have my issues with it.
You like Fast X in July?
Fast X don't even count, bro. They're not even racing each other anymore. They're racing bombs. But yeah, I'm glad you liked it, Ricky. Let me know what your favorite part was. Another one over here. Did you watch the ending of Ted Lasso? I sadly have not seen the ending of Ted Lasso. If you believe in the ending of Ted Lasso, tap that believe little thing that he has and convince me to, because everybody just dragged it to bits, and I do feel really bad about that. But I will be giving it the time of day. I'm not going to review it until I see it for myself. And the last one, LaShawn, thank you. Great stream. Glad I caught one. Appreciate it so much, LaShawn. Other than that, that is all the stuff to have on the horizon for the watch list. Again, we really appreciate y'all watching this. Let us know your picks, not just for the end of summer, for the year so far. What have been your favorite movies? But also let us know what you are looking forward to on the horizon as we get into the fall season, what people call Oscar season.
Yes.
Everybody saves their big movies for the end of the year, except Peacock. But we are going to be going to a lot of film festivals. We are going to be keeping up with all this coverage. Let us know your thoughts. And until next time, keep watching movies. We'll send you this big belly burger.